Hi. We've heard the words systemic racism the last several months, ever since the death of George Floyd. That subject has been in the news quite a bit, and we keep hearing it. And last Sunday, during the announcement section of our service, I mentioned that the Florida Conference is undertaking an effort, along with our national church, to become an anti-racism church. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about systems in general. Our lives are made up of systems. We can't live our life without being a part of multiple systems, both within our own bodies and then outside in life in general. Look at your circulatory system, for example. If something goes wrong with your circulatory system, you go to the doctor. Same with your digestive system. If something is running amok in your digestive system, it's never very good. It's never very good. And there are systems that like the political system, and I'm not going to get into that, but it is a system. But I want to give you a definition first to get your mind thinking about what systems are and how they play into our lives. A systems analyst, this is a person that works with computer systems. Let me read you the definition. A systems analyst is a person who uses analysis and design techniques to solve business problems using information technology. We shorten that today to be IT. Systems analysts may serve as change agents who identify the organizational improvements needed, design systems to implement those changes, and train and motivate others to use the system. So let me read the second part of that again, because that's the part I want us to focus on. Systems analysts may serve as change agents who identify the organizational improvements needed, design systems to implement those changes, and train and motivate others to use the systems. Again, that all has to do with computers, but systems. The church is a system. As I said, political systems. Our lives are governed by systems. And sometimes they do run amok. They become dysfunctional, that overused term that we talk about families a lot, or an individual. But that's when the system isn't working correctly. And so a systems analyst would come in and identify things that need to be fixed and work on implementing those changes and encouraging other people to act. So I want you to look at your life and how you view people of color, because that's what systemic racism is about. It's about race. We forget that there's just one human race on this planet. We've been taught that there are different races. And that's a teaching that's just wrong, but it's been going on forever and ever. So the attempt these last few months is made by that we've seen on the news media. It's been an attempt to raise an awareness about the systemic issues between races. And I say that intentionally, because there shouldn't be any differences between races, but there are. So I want you to think about your life, growing up, where you did, what the circumstances were, what your parents taught you, what you learned in society about race. Used to make fun of it, All in the Family show back in the 70s. We all laughed at that. But if we think about that show, it was very serious topics that they undertook. So think about your life. Think about your life today, not just growing up and in your family system, because your family is a system as well. We'll talk about that another day some. But what we learn throughout our lives forms who we are today. And so when we look on a person of color, what do we see? What do we see? Do we see another human being? Or has our environment and our society taught us to see a person somehow less than we are? Because ultimately that's what it is. Someone in human nature always has to seem to be the one up and the one in the one down position, being taken advantage of and mistreated one way or another. It's been that way throughout time, but maybe it's just time to change it. A little bit at a time. Things that we can do to make a difference in the lives of those around us that really don't look like us. They didn't grow up as an Anglo in this country with all the privileges that entails, and we see that more and more today too. We feel it. We recognize our privilege, that we can go anywhere, do anything we want, and nobody asks us, "What are you doing here?" So I think that's enough for a starter, for me anyways. But please look at your life and how you view people that don't look like you. You know, Jesus, one of the things that he came to do was change the system. He reached out to anybody. It didn't matter who they were, what political tribe they happened to belong to, or what was their country of origin or their ethnic background. He saw them as a human in need. And that's the ideal that we have to strive for in our lives. So that when we look on another person, we don't see them as a Haitian, we don't see them as a Hispanic, we don't see them as whatever label society has put on them. We see them as a human being, made like us in the image of God, our wonderful Creator. Thank you. Have a great day.